What's going on, YouTube? Alright, back on this 91 Pontiac Firebird on the indicator. I finally figured out on how to take not so much this apart, but I did figure out how to take the shifter handle apart. I've been looking for a dang screw on this thing, because most of them do have screws holding these things in, or they screw on. This one here actually has a C-clip that fits right here in this slot. So when you've got your shifter handle sitting there just like that over your shifter, you have this guy, which actually fits this away. What I did to remove this, flathead screwdriver, got it out of there. Now you can take your handle and slide it up. When this thing's sitting down in here like this, well, just imagine that it's actually in the console. You've got two screws here. I did not do this. This was already like this. It had some, like I say, sheetrock or sheetrock putty or whatever. I don't know what that is, but somebody else is doing. But be careful when you do take this off, because these do tend to break. As you can see, somebody was not too careful with it when they pulled it apart. When you get this out of your way, I'm going to have to finagle with it, turn it, twist it, and get it out of your way. I'm gonna also clean this up too. You've got 4 little bolts here, and they all are 7mm. Every one of them 7mm. Once you get that out of this, because that fits in there like pretty much like that, okay? I have just realized something on this. If this is for anybody that is having issues with your indicator on the 91 Firebirds, I believe they started putting the indicators in 1990 through 92. Well, not 90 through 2000s. When they started doing the indicators, I believe. GTAs, Trans-Ams, back in the 80s era, 70s, 80s era, I believe it was just a indicator light. So if yours has the light and you're wondering why yours don't have the indicator, that is why. This one here is the 91 with the indicator on it. I'm trying to figure out on an adjustment on this thing, because I'm sitting here, I'm like, okay, well, this thing slides, you know, it slides and everything, and I'm flipping it on the back, and I'm trying to maybe, okay, well, maybe something's broke here. Maybe there's a piece, which there is a stopper piece right here, but I'm thinking, okay, well, maybe if I can rig something up, maybe I'll put a little stopper piece and maybe bring my indicator down to where it needs to be. You don't have to do that. I just ran across this by accident. This slot here, it fell out. If you notice, there's grooves here, okay? I actually had to move this piece here up. If you notice, there is a arrow going into that top notch. Mine was down in the second notch. All you have to do is pull this up, okay? You see that arrow? Now watch this. This is where mine was at. I'm going to put it down here on the second one. Okay. Let's see. Might have been down on the third one, possibly. Let's see here. Yeah, it's probably down on the third one, because I couldn't even see my indicator. So let's just put this thing on the third notch. That's the fourth notch. Anyway, it don't matter. But anyway, mine was pretty much similar to that. I know it was a 1/4 inch off. This fell out. I didn't even know this came out. I didn't even see these notches until I picked it up and put it down in there. So all you got to do is take this, move it up, to the first notch till it falls in place. Make sure it's in there. Now your indicator, it's all the way up. Your plastic piece is all the way up. That's what's going to go on your shifter. Now I've got an indicator. Okay. So now when I should shift in to reverse, it should go into each gear. Okay. So just to help y'all out. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and reinstall this. But before I do, I'm going to go ahead and pause the video. And I'm going to go ahead and get this piece here cleaned up really good. Just because of the fact, just to clean up all the gunk and everything that's in it. But anyway, I'll be right back on this video. Okay, now the indicator is somewhat nice and cleaned up for a change, once again. So now, what we're going to do, that's all the way up. Get that all the way up. You can tell that's where my indicator's supposed to be. Well, once I put my gear shift down, it should probably line up about right there, give or take. So, make sure that when you got this off, pull this up, go ahead and, while you got it out, go ahead and clean it up. Get all the gunk and stuff and the dust and stuff off of it. But you want to move it to that first mark. If y'all can see that. Alright, first mark. Don't move it down here because then your indicator is going to be way off. Okay, so let's go ahead and install this thing. And I'm sorry that I really don't have no place to really set this up at perfectly. Maybe if I don't know if y'all can see that. Oh, wait. Alright, well, let's put it this away. Oh, come on. Maybe if I can rig up something here. Maybe possibly get my, well, hell, I don't know. But anyway, let's get this thing back on it. So what we're gonna do, make sure that that stays up there. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna put this back like this. So I'm gonna go ahead and pause the video. Okay, so I've got it bolted in. Make sure you don't forget your boot. Alright. So next thing we want to do. Camera's moving around so much, I'm sorry. I'm trying to hold the camera and do this all at the same dang time. So it's kind of one of those things. Now you want to feed this through. So you take this, because you want to disconnect. When you go to take this off, you want to remove this here off of your little switch thing for your armrest. I can't think to this morning. Can't think at all. So this actually goes over this, which y'all should probably know that. Alright, then all you got to do, press down till it clicks, feed it back through, press it down till it cinches in place. Next, also disconnect this when you go to take it loose. I know I'm kind of doing it right the opposite. I should be going, taking everything loose, showing y'all, and then putting everything back together. But I'm actually putting everything back together so I can actually show y'all what y'all need to do for y'all's indicator. So your window switch, go ahead and plug that back in. It only goes in one way. Make sure you hold it really good. Trying to hold, like I said, trying to hold it and do the camera all at the same time. Make sure you don't break it. Okay, just make sure it's good and on there. So I know some of these probably don't fit too good, being old and stuff, but now when you go to take it off, it's just the same way as putting everything back on. And you gotta finagle everything. Alright, hang on, let me get my thing. Make sure you get it in the hole. This is where it comes tricky a little bit because you gotta finagle with it, turn it, twist it, push down. See, I did it without taking the cover thing off for the radio. Actually, let me pause this again because I may have to take that back off. Okay, the old saying goes, work smarter, not harder. Go ahead and take these 4 screws out. Take your radio out, CD player, whatever you have. Remove these 4 screws and remove this. Okay, I didn't have to remove it when I took it out, but I guess putting everything back in, I guess there's certain things you just got to remove. And there's just absolutely no way around it. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that now. Okay, since we got that removed, I went ahead and plugged up my windows and plugged this back up. There's actually a light for this here, which is, this piece needs to go back in there, but I'll put that in there here in a little bit. Make sure that this actually fits down underneath, but you'll see how it all comes together once you start yanking and pulling into all this stuff. Just make sure you do not break anything. Sometimes it's kind of hard not to, because things do get brittle, and I'll be getting this thing fully detailed pretty soon once I get all this stuff fixed and everything else. All right, come on here, get in there. Slides in. And then just push down. Okay, make sure it all gets seated pretty good. And look at there. Oh, come on, get the light out. Now look at there, I got a freaking indicator. I'll start it up here in a minute and see if it will go into gear like it should be. Get that boot down. Get your screws. Put your screws in. They're 7mm. This is why I strive so much on working on cars, because it's just amazing to me on how things are so well put together, and everything else. Make sure you don't tighten these too much. Just want to snug them down. Start tightening them too much, then you'll probably end up having issues like this here where it breaks. So hopefully one day I can pull this all back apart and get this here replaced, so that way it will be back to new again. Because like I said, I'm keeping everything, so I'm trying to keep everything as original as much as I can without going too modern. Now, get your shifter on there, and it's gonna see your clip. There's a notch. Okay, get this camera focusing. Camera ain't gonna focus on me, but if y'all can see that there is a notch. Get my finger out of the way. I'm always getting my fingers in the way, but there's a notch there. That's where your C-clip goes. So put that on there. Take your C-clip. This thing's old and rusted too. Make sure you don't prick yourself. But that goes back there. And I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll do it this way. How about that? If it'll work. I don't even know if y'all can actually see that, okay? Y'all might be able to see that. But anyway, it goes in that slot right there. And trying to actually brace this phone. Alright, maybe it'll do that way. Maybe it'll do it that way. Alright, so one thing is maybe kind of hard to see because you got two spots on the back of the little two holes back here on the back of the shifter that's got to go down into. Probably just go and get it started first, but there is some notches here, so just figure out which, where, and when. Come on. It's kind of a pain in the butt here. There we go. Now, I'll take a screwdriver. Another one possibly to kind of help tap it in. Kind of help tap it in a little bit. Pull up on it, make sure that it's not going to slide back out. Make sure it's in that groove, which it is. Okay, so since you got that, then we can go ahead and get this situated. Make sure that my wire over here, come on, power wire out of the way. It's actually kind of one of the first videos I've actually did a hands-on video on, but actually trying to show y'all on how to get some of the stuff done. And I know a lot of y'all probably got a lot of questions on how to do this, so that's why I'm making a video on that, because nobody on YouTube shows how to do a video on this. Alright, so that's why I'm showing y'all now. But I'm going to be right back. So I'm going to go ahead and pause the video. I'm going to go ahead and get this screwed down and go and get my keys, and we'll see if the indicator light is fixed. Hang on just a little bit. I'll be right back. Alright. Got that bolted back in. Yes, perfect, perfect. Neutral is there, overdrive, drive, 2, and 1. Looks like the issue is fixed. Oh, kind of parked downhill a little bit. And actually, I'm going to go ahead and put it in drive. Grip my e-brake. And then put it in park. Being on downhill, a lot of you guys don't know that. Being parked downhill, you never want to put your transmission in park and then pull your e-brake. Never want to do that on a hill. Downhill, uphill, do not do it. Keep it in drive or put it in neutral, pull the e-brake and then put it in park. That way it keeps the strain down off of your transmission. And if a lot of you guys are parked on a hill not pulling your e-brake while you're parked, and you go to start your vehicle and you can't get it out of damn park, or it shifts extremely hard when you put it in reverse or drive, that's because your transmission being put in a bind. So that's a tip. But anyway, that is to show y'all on how to fix your indicator light on your 91 Pontiac Firebird, 92 Firebird, 90 Firebird, on up to well, whichever has this type of setup on your console. But anyway, that's fixed. I can sleep better at night. That's been bugging me for the last week and a half, and ever since I actually got this vehicle. So y'all be good, y'all stay safe, God bless. I'll see y'all later. Bye.